Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Wednesday, July 7th, 2021, and I'm here for my weekly cross-stitching update that's 2.5 weeks late, or I guess 1.5 weeks late, but it's been 2.5 weeks since my last video, and I had mentioned I would be an extra week late, but then there was a few extra days this week that just other circumstances came up and I just couldn't film. So here I am. It's been good. The week I filmed last, we had a lot of family things in town, or locally, I guess. We went to the beach a couple times. We had late nights that cut into my stitching time, but it was all good. And then the next week, this past week, we went on vacation. So we went to Zion, Bryce, and the North Rim of the Grand Canyon, which is really fun with some extended family as well, so it wasn't just our family. Very fun time together. I did get some cross stitching done while we were gone. Not the same kind of stitching time as usual, but still some. So I did some in the car. I did a little bit in the evening sometimes. It just kind of depended on the day and the event and the activities and all that. So I do have things to show you, quite a few different things, and I got a little bit done earlier this week, but not quite as much as I had hoped, as you know, as it goes. That's kind of the way it happens, right? Summertime is a time of unusual schedules and you just kind of got to roll with it. So we're going to roll with it. So here we go. I have my YouTube comment picker ready here on my iPad. So I think I'm going to start with that. I usually start with my travel stitching, but my first actual project, right when I was filming last, was Daisy Girl. This is my copy, which is a really old Leisure Arts chart. I looked at it later and it's 1994, so pretty old. And I started it in high school, I think, and it was meant to be on a 28 count. The directions tell you to do 3 strands, and some of the colors are blends that say 2 strands of one color and 1 strand of another, which, naive as I was at the time, I decided to use a 32 count because that was the only gray I could find, and was still trying to do 3 strands, and it was a bear. I got into it a little bit with on that Monday, or actually Tuesday, when I was talking to my sister, and wasn't having fun with it. I actually miscounted along here somewhere because, not miscounted, did the wrong symbols because the symbols were almost identical. So the symbols in this chart were giving me fits as well. I may eventually make a working copy so I can highlight or put it into a digital form of some kind so I can blow it up and write on it on an iPad, something like that. I may end up doing, but at this point, I decided to restart it. So I have my old version right here on the 32 count gray. I can't remember what kind of gray. MCG Textiles linen with a very small margin at the top. And I did some of this around here and then decided, no, I don't really like the 3 strands. It looks chunky, and part of that could just be old stitching habits too, because this is over 20 years old, probably, a lot of the stitching. So I decided to restart it. I did have a piece of 32 count. It's still 32 count, but I had a piece of 32 count that I'm not going to use. Had another abandoned whip on it, and I decided to use that with just 2 strands. So if it calls for a blend of 2 strands of one color and 1 strand of one, I'll just do 1 strand of each. Does that make sense? This fabric is the pale gray-green fabric that I started the mystery stitch along by the cross stitch studio that's now like a baby owl or something. Would have been this way. Not really feeling that stitch along. It didn't really end up being something that I'm interested in personally, so I'm going to abandon that project and not continue on it and use this fabric for this instead. It was a perfect size, so I couldn't say no. So this is how far I got on my restart with starting at the top, picking colors, and working from the top down. So far much better with the 2 strands instead of 3, and I'm hoping I'll probably end up doing something to help make the chart a little more usable as well, because the chart itself is, the colors make it awkward as far as the way they identify what a 3/4 stitch is as compared to a 1/4 stitch or a full stitch. The colors are completely different, so it kind of tricks your eye into not knowing what to stitch. So I think what I might do, I've heard of people, recently I even heard somebody say on Flosstube that they took a picture of their pattern and then were able to blow it up, you know, they might have had an app so that they could write on it as well. And then you could just color your symbols in. And it's very rudimentary, I guess. Not as exciting as Pattern Keeper, but because there's so much, like, there's so many 1/4 stitches and whatnot in here and backstitching, that I don't think it would really work to try the convert to Pattern Keeper options anyways. So I might just try one of those other apps and see if I can just have some way of coloring on it and have that help me. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Because I worked on that, I decided to have this be a good time to do the giveaway of this chart that a Carla donated to me to donate to you. So this is, I think it was a thrift store copy or something, but she donated, sent it to me to give to you. So this is a different copy than mine. And this was up for grabs last week, or 2.5 weeks ago. So I will pull the winner for this one and hopefully get that out soon. So I have 81 unique comments with the word Daisy in it from the last video. So let's see who's gonna get this one. Lilia Webb. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. Isn't that the old song? Yeah, I think it's something like that. So congratulations, Lilia. You win the Daisy Girl pattern. So hopefully you and I can like trade tips on how to best work on this pattern and tackle it. So let me know your mailing address. You can either email me at stitchinmommy7@gmail.com, or you can send me a private message on Instagram. I'm Stitchin Mommy over there as well. So let me know and I'll get that in the mail to you. So congratulations. And now that's done. I had some Stitchy Kindness this week as well, and part of it will be a giveaway, but not till later. I think I'll try to gather up a few fun giveaways for a future giveaway to have like a lot of things available at once. So I got a fun little letter from Colette, the Highway Stitcher, that she found on the freebie table at StitchCon. Sunflower Fairy by Nora Corbett. And this looked like it was from a magazine. And I believe you can still buy this now, because I think I have it. I'll have to double check. But I think I have this because you can buy it as a PDF now from Hirschners.com, because this is all of the things that were released as a magazine pattern by Nora Corbett are now on Hirschners instead. They're not available as print copies other places, but this is the one that was from the magazine, and she found it on the freebie table. So I'll be using this for a future giveaway. She also sent me some more Threadworks thread. So I think I got a Threadworks thread from you one other time. So I'll be building building up my Threadworks stash one at a time. So this is really pretty. I love this burgundy, just slightly variegated color. So that's pretty. It's 010051. They don't have names, I guess. So yay, thank you, Colette. And I also got, it's warm in here. I'm upstairs and it's like ready to be too hot already. I got a wonderful thank you package by Sandra of the Joyful Expressions. I can put a picture in of my progress on His Name is Jesus. I may be working on that later this week if I while talking to Desiree. That's what I like to do. Desiree of The Addicted Stitcher. We're working on this together whenever we visit. I've been showing it on my channel, and it's one of their patterns, and so she wanted to say thank you. She sent me a few lovely needle minders. They also sell needle minders, and these are, you know, Christian verses or Bible verses. This one, they're in little bags already, but I'll take them out to show you a little bit. This one says, "In all things, give thanks." 1 Thessalonians 5:16, maybe. So I don't know. Not really sure how to best. It's got to be in front, right? Anyways, I'm not good at showing little things, but they're cute. And this one says, "For we walk by faith and not by sight." It's another one similar to this. And then this is a bottle cap one that says, "Joy to the world, the Lord is born." So, and I have another one that I bought from them that I am using on my Northern Expressions Needleworks Twisted Band Sampler. That's also a bottle cap style one. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, or something that has little birds on it. So they have really nice needle minders. So she sent me a few of those, as well as this pretty card, which the needle minders are stuck to, but it's got Bible verses all along here, like in the artwork. So that's really pretty. So yay! Thank you so much for that. I will definitely enjoy putting these to good use, even starting this week, because I have a project I'll be working on this week that currently doesn't have a needle minder. So I will probably use one of these, maybe this one. It looks the most colorful for the particular project that I'm going to be working on this week. It doesn't have a needle minder, so yay! Thank you. So yeah, you can head over there to Joyful Expressions. She's got patterns and needle minders and possibly some other things, but very nice things. So let's see. I guess now we can start on with what we typically talk about, or we start with travel stitching. And I did a lot of travel stitching, but I didn't always work on my travel projects while I was traveling. Sometimes I work on other things just because that was the time I had. So we'll start with my temperature typography that I'm working on. And I finished the month of June. I finished stitching the month of June. And I could probably stitch the J in the next day or two, but it's not started yet. I like to do them after I get all the temperatures ready for that letter as much as possible. So, okay, so here is my temperature typography. This is on 28 count, pale blue, even weave, 1/1 full crosses. And we have some reds. It had been getting a little toasty around here. Not as red. I saw Colette, the highway stitcher, her recent video, her June is almost completely red and bright oranges. So we just kind of poked up into the hots. There's one or two at the top of this one. Maybe just one day at the top of N and one day in the middle. They got to my second highest color. I think there were 106 those days. So I still have one more color at the top of the temperature of the color ranges that I haven't gotten to yet. But potentially we could get there in July or August. So stay tuned. It's pretty fun. I like seeing the play of color and knowing that even somewhere where you don't expect there to be seasons, really, there's still a range of temperatures. And so doing these has been really fun to be more aware of that. It's not just always warm in Southern California. It does get cooler and hotter and whatnot. So it's fun. If you pick a range that appropriately reflects your area, you should be able to get a nice play of all the colors. And if you ever need help picking a range, let me know. I'm happy to help you with that. So I also worked on my flea market flowers a little bit, here and there and everywhere, all along the road. And so this is a Fat Quarter Shop pattern, and they're doing a stitch along that I think ends today. I'm nowhere near finished with this pattern. I think I don't have these leaves done yet, but like this part is done. All of this is not done. So I will probably be putting this away for the short term to work on the last Prim Stitch series pattern for my travel stitching for the rest of July probably, and then be able to put that together into a quilt this summer for my daughter while I have a little extra time with her, and then come back to this when that last Prim Stitch series is done. I'll show you that in a minute, but I'm doing this on all the called for things. This is 25 count barley even weave. I'm doing mine 1/1, and it's using all the called for DMC flosses in just straight cross stitch. So this is how far I got. So you can see that compared to last time. And it's been fun. It is denser stitching than I often want for my travel stitching. It's like a larger piece, I guess, than I usually have for travel stitching, because it's nice to have something where you can see a finish sooner. But it is kind of nice because each little block feels like a finish as well. So when I was working through these two, if I had more on my needle of whatever color I was working on, I would work down here to finish out the thread. So that's why this looks kind of random, just because it was the leftover bits of threads from particularly this one. So that's how far I am. I have to do the centers of these flowers and the little leaves, and then I can move on to probably this one. Because I'm so far behind, I just figured I'll go straight across and then kind of work down. So this block is technically the highest block. Next, I'll work on that one, then I'll work on this one, then probably this one, then this one, if that makes sense. So that's kind of how I'll work it when I come back to this. I'll try to remember to post my progress today, how far I got during the official stitch along for this project, and on Instagram. So I'll try to remember to do that. And then I'll put it away for a little while. And I'll show you this now. I'll bring back out the Prim Stitch series, which is all of these that they've been doing since last July. I think they started it, July 2020, and now June 2021 is the last one. And I haven't started this yet. This is called Hands and Heart to God. So this is the last one. And I'm playing with these. I'm doing them 1/1, but I'm also switching some of the cross stitches out for specialty stitches of my own imagination. So I have that last one left to do. All the rest of them they're all in here, including the one extra piece. So I will be possibly able to start that this week and get that going, so I have that in my travel rotation when I go places. And then when that's finished, I'll piece them together into a little doll blanket for my daughter, and I think that'll be really fun. So I'll keep you posted on that process of that project. I think that's everything in my travel bag. I had a different bag that I put a whole bunch of things in while we were gone, because I wanted to be able to fit more than just travel stitching. I wanted to have a few other projects along the way. So let's see. So Daisy Girl, I already showed you my progress and my restart on that one. Then I moved on to Knitting Woman for a couple days. These first ones, that week that when I filmed last, I ended up kind of pushing, because I restarted Daisy Girl, I ended up not really having enough time on those particular days to work on it sufficiently in my mind. So, and I knew going forward into getting ready for a vacation, there's always those days where it's just too busy packing and preparing to do a whole lot of cross stitching. And so I decided I would not start my butterfly rose cross after all. So that is one project I just dropped from the rotation completely. That's this one. And I was going to work on this on some teal hand-dyed fabric by a hand-dyeing duo with no background stitched on the project, and let the fabric shine. But I decided not to start that, so that is still not started. Instead, I gave an extra day to Daisy Girl just to make sure I got a decent amount of progress started. I didn't want just 2 or 3 stitches. I wanted to have something to show. And then Knitting Woman and Dragon Ride, I still wanted to give them their due before we left on vacation. So I figured the best thing to do was just to not start the Rose Cross and then work on my Cozy Cafe Club with whatever extra time I had left before we left on vacation. And that's what I did. So it all kind of changed, but it worked out. So this is Knitting Woman by Golden Kite. And I think I did a couple days on this because, again, I wanted to make sure I had a decent amount of progress. Let's go back a page here. Yeah, I did like 24 stitches on the second day just to probably finish my string or finish a color or something. So, but not a whole lot done on this. Overall, like less than 200 stitches. But every little bit counts. So here is Knitting Woman now. This is on 22 count Aida, 2/1 half stitches. And I believe I worked in the skin. So there's some colors that were through here and in the hands down here. So that's been fun to see that coming along. Not a ton of progress, but you could probably see a little bit of fill in those skin colors. So I will bring that back out again probably in September, because August I have decided to do a form of arbitrary August, I believe. So this one won't get worked on next month. Let's see what next. Oh yeah, and then Dragon Ride was next, which is the one I'm doing for my son. I wanted to give these 2 family pieces some time. This is by Teresa Wensler. And I think this was another one that I worked on. Nope, just the one day, I guess. So I finished, oh yeah, I was working on some of these purple colors here and down here, and then I managed to finish a color, so that's fun. So here is Dragon Ride compared to last time. And I might bring it in a little bit so you can see what I did. I worked on these feathers through here and then a little bit down here, and that darkest color I believe is finished, the darkest purple, because I realized I started working on I think I had some dark purple on my needle. I finished that up, then I came back and was working on a lighter purple, and then I noticed there was some dark purple that was wrong. So when I finished the string of light purple, I went back with the dark purple and fixed the place that was wrong, and then continued that color until it was completed in the whole design. So that's always fun when you get to finish a color. So that's good. Again, not a ton, but completing a color is always a fun milestone. Maybe next time we'll finish the light purple. Oh, this is on 28 count light blue even weave by MCG Textiles. Got to make sure to tell you those things. After that, we left. Oh no, I started to work on the Cozy Cafe Club, and this is one I ended up working on off and on throughout, like at the beginning of the vacation and then at the end of the vacation as well. So this is Frosted Pumpkins 2021 Mystery Stitch Along. So we just got part 4 at the end of June, and it'll be all revealed by the end of the year. So this time was Strawberry Lemonade, and it's literally my favorite cold beverage. So I was very excited to see this, and it's perfect for summer. So I started this before vacation and kind of worked on it a little bit in the car that first day, and then again on the last day home. So I ended up finishing the actual drink, but I don't have the borders done yet. So I'm still kind of working on that. I'm not sure when I'll get back to it, but the drink itself is finished. So that's good. This is on 25 count vintage cloth in the color Prim, 1/1, full crosses, and I think it's really cute. I did make a few adjustments on this part. They had some beads on the strawberries, which at first seemed a little wrong to me because there's beads on these raspberries, which makes a little bit more sense, but strawberries aren't made the same as raspberries. They have like dimples where the seeds go. They're not bulgy like raspberries. So I was already a little bit unsure if I liked that concept. And then I noticed these slices of strawberries also had beads on them. And then I thought, you know what? Slices of strawberries don't have the same texture as the outside of the strawberry, so why would there still be beads on the outside bits of these slices? So, and then I thought, you know what? It's inside a glass. You're looking at it through the glass in the liquid. The beads popping off the fabric, especially when I'm doing petite stitches, it just seemed not to fit. So what I did is I didn't do any beads at all. And instead of the beads on these full strawberries, which you may not be able to see, I used this darkest red where the beads go, just to kind of give a little bit of texture to that area, make it look a little bit more like seeds, and it may be hard to see, but that's okay. And then these outside bits of the slices of strawberries, I just did plain red. So that was my alteration on that one to kind of make it make more sense to me. So I'm still working on, there's one more little lace bit right here. This is as far as the shelf goes on this part, so I just left it hanging for next time. And then I'll do the rest of the border in the corner there before, hopefully sometime before part 5 comes out at the end of July. So this has been really fun. I like this one. They are a little busy and stitch heavy, so keep that in mind if you want to try it, but they are pretty cute. And it makes you want to have that drink while you're stitching it. So then we left on vacation, and so got a little, again, not necessarily the exact days. I didn't work on things the exact day I had planned, but I did get to everything that I had planned on getting to. So this is the first thing I chose to work on, was Purple Pansy. Only I'm using a sulky pack that does not include purple. So mine is more like Pink Pansy, but by Carolyn Manning Designs. And this is a all backstitching one. I wouldn't necessarily consider it black work, because black work to me feels like it's a space filled in with the pattern of backstitching, which this is just outline stitches. So to me it feels different than black work, but if you want to call it black work or colorful black work, feel free. That's just, to me, it feels like a little bit of a distinction there, but maybe I'm just naive. All right, I am also using Mistletoe by Color and Cotton for my green, as well as a random sulky pack that I had. This is charted in sulkies, but I just used the ones that I had in a pack because I figured they work together, so let's use those. And I ended up working on this until I had finished all of the green in this center area, and then just to finish my string I ended up coming up and starting the first little bit of the next outside area. So yay! This is on 18 count light blue Aida, 1 strand of sulky or 1 strand of the Color and Cotton, and I figured because these leaves are more densely stitched that it would be fine to have the 1 strand of regular cotton floss instead of the sulky, because the sulky is a little bit thicker than regular floss, so I think it'll be fun. And I will get some more colors in some of the edge areas that I didn't yet include in the middle. I believe there's at least 1 more color that I haven't used yet. So maybe sometime, at some point, I don't know when, this will come out again to keep working on it. I'd like to finish this before the end of the year, because it doesn't seem like the type of piece that I want to linger in my whip pile for a very long time. I then worked on Cherry Kitten, and this was a fun one to work on. This is by Artisy, and I'm doing the no background version. So it's originally, if you do the background version, it's charted with like blue sky and white puffy clouds. But I'm using Pole Stitch's Cosmos is the name of the fabric. 28 count, even weave. It's really pretty and kind of gave that cloudy feel. So I'm just going to do it on this fabric with no background. I think that's a fun choice. So here's a little closer from my before and after. I am doing this 1/1 full crosses, and I worked a little bit on mainly the ears because there were some pinks that came in here and a little bit on the nose just to try to finish up some colors. There was some more pinks on the bottoms of the kitty's feet, but I didn't want to count down that far quite yet, so I just stuck with the head areas that had pink. I think there might have been some tans as well, like really light beiges, because I'm picking colors from the top down, which are up here in this ear. So the top of the ear is a little bit more filled in than last time, and then I kept going with some of the shades. So not a ton of stitching, but it's still enjoyable whatever you get done. And I'm happy I pulled it out. It's been a little while. Then we go into July. Let's turn my page here. And I decided to work on Visit Endor on my son's birthday because it made sense to me. And it was easier to take this than Lady of the Flag, which is what I had planned for my whole weekend. So I decided to take this, and then Saturday I worked on Cozy Cafe Club most of the time in the car to get that strawberry lemonade finished. And then when I got home, then I worked on Lady of the Flag a little bit on actual Independence Day. So I worked on this. This is by Country Magic Stitch. You can find her on Etsy. Her patterns are now compatible with Pattern Keeper, which is super exciting. And if you have an old pattern that's not compatible, you can email her, reference to receipt or something, and she can send you an updated copy, which is what I did. It's very, very helpful. So this is my progress on this. I believe I can hopefully find an old before picture because I forgot to show this to you last time. I wasn't planning on working on it until partway through the video. So I did one strand of this light blue and then one strand of the medium blue. And it was about 400 something stitches. This was mostly in travel stitching, actually. I worked on it mostly in the car, a little bit when I got back to the house because I wanted to finish my string, but most of it was just back and forth in the car on the way to the Grand Canyon. So it's fun when you have these projects that you take places or have things in your life happen that you kind of stitch into your piece, and you could remember those things when you see that piece. You're like, oh yeah, I worked on this when this was happening, or when I went here, things like that to make it fun. So I worked on that a little bit, and then I finished up the Cozy Cafe Club to the point it is now, at least. And then when I got home, decided to work on Lady of the Flag for the 4th of July, which is our Independence Day. So that makes sense. And I was working in the blue of the flag. So I decided to just make it easy on myself, and I only picked the first color I chose that was next to work on was a solid blue. There's a few blends in the flag. So I decided just to stick with that solid blue and keep going. I got maybe 3 lengths of thread worked on. So it felt good to get that much done. And here it is. This is on 32 count Stony Point linen by Witchelt. So like a dark gray green, and I thought it would look nice with the yellow dress, would pop, and everything else looks nice on it too. So then I did work on this darkest blue here, maybe a little bit here. Not the darkest. This is navy, but the next main blue color is basically what I worked on in just a few different areas. So I will be filling in these. I'm doing top down for the most part, but I figured I'd wait on the star colors until I got all the blue finished so they'd be easier to count to be able to place them accurately. So there's 1 or 2 floss colors in the stars, and then 2 or 3 colors of beads as well. So I'll do all of that once the blue section, it goes about like right here. When the blue section is done, then I'll do the stars. So that was fun, just one day on that, instead of a whole weekend, which is what I had originally been planning, which was dumb because I knew I was gonna be gone part of that time. But it's a nice long container, so I didn't want to have to bring it on the trip. I was already taking another long container, my daily stitching piece, which I almost forgot to show you. This is Waterfall in Yosemite, and I did work on this all along on the trip. I don't think I missed any days, which is amazing. So this is exciting. I worked on this at least 65 stitches every day. There might have been some days where there might be one day that was less than 65, but one was 54. So I figured it was fine because I had gone over most other days. So I think I got into the end of my string or something and just called it good. I'm like, I got far enough. So this is exciting. Where this is at now. Plugging away at this. Maybe I'll put it on this side so it's a little easier to get the before picture in there, just because of where all the rocks on this side are placed. I didn't quite get the top row finished, but I'm very close. So potentially this week I could finish the top row of pages, which is exciting. I spent a lot of time working up here in this corner. So I think this bit and in here are just 1 or 2 more rows on the top row of pages. And then the rest of it is now in the second row, technically. On Pattern Keeper, it doesn't really matter where your page lines are, but it is fun to know that that top page set of pages is finished. So that'll be fun. I might get to that point this week, which will be really exciting. I did do a little bit over here as well when I had some white on my needle. So yeah, so that's Waterfall in Yosemite. This is on 18 count antique white Aida with 2 strands. And I'm plugging away at that sky soon enough. And I think this part right here is kind of the end of the sky. There's some of the waterfall is like right here, and there's whatever rocks are on this side and then this side. So it'll be fun to start seeing the outline of the actual sky as I finish strings. So that's exciting to see. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And I very well hopefully can finish the sky this calendar year by working on it for this 21,000 stitches in 2021 challenge in full coverage fanatics. I'm also working on this for the Tour de France challenge, which is happening right now, where we're stitching the number of stitches that they are writing. I'm doing the smallest amount of stitches in the challenge just for the sprinting legs, the green jersey, and I haven't added them up yet, but I'm probably still short of my goal, so I'll check. But I think if I average 65 stitches on all the days I'm supposed to stitch during the Tour de France challenge, I'll make that smallest goal. So I'll have to start, when I get closer, I'll do some math and see how close I am to getting it. It goes until the 18th. So I actually have a decent amount of time. I have 2 more weeks to get to my goal. So I'll keep working on that and see how I'm going. I keep track of my stitches every day, but I don't keep a running log unless I make a point to do that. So I'll have to do that at some point. And then yesterday, Monday and Tuesday, I went ahead and worked on my small piece for this week because my current plan is to work on a small category project on Monday and Tuesday, a medium project on Wednesday and Thursday, and a large project on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Hopefully I said that right. I feel like my words are getting tired. So this week's small piece was my letter L fairy for my niece. And I gave it both days because her birthday is here in the month of July, so I thought that would be fun. Didn't get as much stitching on it as I'd like, just because life right after a vacation is often almost as busy as life right before vacation, because you've got mountains of laundry and just all the things you didn't get to while you were gone now need to be done. So I got some time, and I think I might do one more length of thread before I put this away today. So we may see this again next week because I think I'm not quite ready to put it away. I was hoping to get a little bit more done on it this month, on its focus month, than I was able to. So I have another length of thread on my needle that I didn't actually get to work on last night. So I think I'll go ahead and put that in before I put this away and bring out my next piece. This is where I got to. This is on Water Lily, 32 count linen, 2/2, and I'm using all my own flosses. There might be one or two that's called for, but it calls for a lot of fancy floss, and I just picked fancy floss from my stash that either matched nicely or went with my niece's color choices. So I made her have a pink dress, and this fill is a little bit more purple than the one that was called for, and it's a beautiful Color and Cotton Highlands, and I love the play of purples and pinks and grays. It's really pretty. So I have one more length of this on my thread, on my needle, to fill in more of this L, and I think I'll do that today before I pull out my next piece. So I did a little bit down here, finished out the brown all the way, and then did one length of Highlands on the regular stitching days that I had. So I think I want to do one more before I put this away. There's not a lot to this one. This is a fairly small design compared to some of the other letters. So once this is filled in, there's like vines, which are half string, half green string and half green beads. And then there's some sprigs of beads that she's kind of making happen over here. Oh, and her wing. I guess I still need to do her wings. So there's a little bit more, but it's definitely a lot less involved than some of the other letters. So my goal for sure to finish this by the end of this calendar year, but if I finish it early, I'll just go ahead and start on my next one, which will be the letter F. I'm making one of these for each of my nieces, and it's been a lot of fun. So my next piece that I will be working on today, hopefully, if I can finish that stitching on the L before all of my stitching time is gone, I'd like to work on Summer Floral Cross. I have all of these started. I started them all last year. There's one for each season, and I thought it would be fun to work on them again at least once in their season. So I worked on, I think I worked on spring at some point during the spring, and we are now officially in summer, so I figured, well, I'll bring this out. This is technically a medium-sized piece, so it fits into my medium slot. I don't have a whole lot done. I have some of the white flower and some of these leaves, or pink flower and some of these leaves. So I'll continue to work to the top. All the other ones, I've made my way to the top already, and I've started working from the top down. This one hasn't yet reached the top, so there'll be some work up in here, and hopefully I can reach the top of this one too. And it was actually kind of funny when I was pulling this out. I grabbed my green fabric first because I thought it was the right color. I thought, oh yeah, summer, light green would make sense for a summer piece. And I pulled it out, and and it had a pine tree needle minder on it, which made me pause, thinking, why would I put a pine tree needle minder on a summer piece? It doesn't really fit. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll double check to see if this is the right one, because they all have kind of a small amount done on them. And I realized, no, that's the winter one. So I went back to and realized winter was on green and summer was on white. These are all done on 14 count Aida. The summer, the spring, and the winter were all a kit that I received as gifts. The kits are no longer available, but you can find the charts on Everything Cross Stitch, Cooler Design Studio, and 123 Stitch. So they're available as charts, just not as kits. So the autumn one I got as a chart. So I kitted that up myself with some Fiddler's Aida. I thought that would look pretty, the oatmeal color, to make it look well with the autumn colors. So they're all in a different color of 14 count Aida. Summer is the only one on white. It's very stiff because it's kit Aida. But this is how far I have gotten so far on this one. Only 1 or 2 days start from last year. Started in the middle, worked my way up. So I'll hopefully keep going up to get to the top of the piece and start working from the top down. That's how I've been doing all of them. I think this is the only one that hasn't made it to the top yet. So in the next couple days, that would be my goal, is to make it to the top. And as I stitch on these, I'm hoping they will soften up because they are very stiff. I do like these little peely things work pretty well on these stiff Aida to keep it in the roll while I'm stitching on it, to keep my hand from having to hold the roll firmly to keep from unrolling. So they have been helpful in keeping my hand from getting tired on the stiff Aida. And then for my large piece this week, I'll be working on a Crazy Wonderful Owl family, which is one that I have been kind of missing lately. It's been a little while since I worked on this. So I thought, oh, I'll work on this. This will be a fun, colorful piece for summer. And I'm doing a no background version as well. It's charted that way. You can get it with the blue, but the blue was unnecessary to me. I'm not going to stitch that much, mostly solid blue. So this represents my family pretty well in pretty much all of our favorite colors, which is pretty cool. So I needed to do it. This is a New Year's start a little bit ago. 28 count Glacier by Picture This Plus. My only Picture This Plus fabric, and I'm doing this 1/1 full crosses. Yeah, if I fold it up, you can see the color a little bit better. So far I'm working on Papa Owl. I think I started on the wing and kind of worked my way to the top of the design. So I believe this is the top of the design because he's the tallest character. So I'll keep going. Probably picking colors from the top down, but also maybe just following the design as well. So we'll have to see what happens. But I'll give this 3 days unless something else comes up. So hopefully we'll see a good amount of progress on this for 3 weekend days. I'm excited about that. It's got such pretty colors. Okay, and so one last project that I almost forgot to show you, because it's not in my regular focus pieces. It's what I do on Mondays, Mill Hill Mondays. So I took this with me on vacation and actually worked on it a little bit on vacation. Got 3 strands of floss done while on vacation, which was great. And then the symbol I was working on was kind of an annoying symbol. It was hard to see, especially in the low light of our vacation cabin. So when I got to it again, since I didn't film this Monday like I was planning to, I almost forgot again to work on it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Monday. I think I'd done half a stitch on Waterfall before I remembered I needed to work on my Mill Hill. So I got my Mill Hill out again. So it has 2 weeks of progress since you've seen it last. And I finished that annoying symbol. So even, I think I got 5 or 6 lengths of thread done this Monday, just because I wanted to finish that color and be completely done with it. So I did a little bit more on it, which was to the detriment of the letter L fairy. Why I didn't get as much done on that, but I figured it was worth it. I'm happy with my progress on this one. So, because I just wanted to be done with that color. So here is where I am now. So this is Hummingbird by Buttons and Beads Mill Hill, and I was working on this light pine green. This took quite a few strands down here because it's kind of dense. And the hummingbird is here. You can see the wings are here, the body, and there's a flower over here. So that's fun. I've been picking symbols from the top, you know, right to left. So that happened to be this symbol right here because there's a leaf right here, I think. But down here, it was a little bit hard to count because this symbol and one of the symbols right next to it they were similar enough that they kept playing tricks on my eyes. So, and I don't tend to highlight my pattern, so it was just kind of a bother. So I just wanted to be done with it and make sure I could move on to a more fun symbol next time. So next time I'll work on probably whatever's right there and do that in the whole thing. And it's been fun to do at least 3 strands every Monday. So far it had been just 3, except for this week. Then I decided to do as many as it took to finish that color. So yay, that's been fun. And with that, I think that's everything I have to share with you today, which is kind of a lot, but it's been a long time. So Lilia, I believe, is the one who won Daisy Girl, so be sure to let me know your mailing address, and I will be bringing some more goodies to you. I got a big box from the Fat Quarter Shop right before I left that has some things I'll be giving away in it as well, but I'll save those till next time to share with you and I might even wait and do a giveaway, save them for a future giveaway, because I have noticed I'm getting close to 10,000, and it may still take another month or 2 or 3, but I should probably have something fun ready to celebrate. So that's coming later. So I think I might save a few of these things for a little bit down the road. So with that, I will sign off and get this thing edited and uploaded, because a lot of you are worried about me because I've been gone for so long. But I hope to be somewhat more consistent the rest of the summer. I think most of the time it should be fairly normal schedule from here on out. And I look forward to seeing, oh yeah, with my stitching. Plans, if you care about plans, I have a couple things to say about July. I will be working on Joan Elliott July a little bit, as well as Christmas in July a little bit. So my 2 Joan Elliott's that I already have started are both in my quote-unquote small category. So I'm going to be working on those for my next 2 small rotations, which is Monday and Tuesday, the 12th and the 13th, and the 19th and the 20th. So that's when I'll be doing my Joan Elliott projects. I'm not going to do any new Joan Elliott's. I'll be doing Edwardian Lady first. That'll be next week's small project, and then Mayday Merriment will be the following week's small project. And then my medium projects, I had 2 medium projects that are Christmassy that I wanted to work on. So next week I'll do Advent Animals for 2 days, and then the week after that I'll do my Heirloom Nativity Sampler by the Victoria Sampler. I'll work on those 2 for my medium pieces. So those will be my Joan Elliott July and Christmas in July. So I am doing a little bit on those 2 kind of themes that people like to do in July. If you'd like to join me for any of that, feel free. My large projects are basically just for fun. Some things I haven't worked on in a little while. And then going into the end of the month, starting on the 23rd, is when the Olympics challenge starts. So all of those pieces at the end will be full coverage pieces, because I'll be working on them for the Olympics challenge in full coverage fanatics to try to get a bingo. So that's kind of my plans for the rest of July, in case you were curious or wanted to play along. So with that, I will be honestly done now, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and see you next week. Happy stitching. Bye.